Hey guys, this is a Rook King checkmate tutorial number 2 because the last one, I had microphone problems. So just like the Queen King, the King will always try to stay in the center of the board because those are the farthest away from the edges and the corners. So the first thing to do is for black, it's black's turn right now, drive the King out of the center. So pause the video and try to find out the best move. Okay, so it's Rook D to D6 because if you go too far, and this will happen, and this is a problem you don't have with the Queen because this spot is guarded. So going one step too far can cost you a game. And this is the best move. As I said, white has to always try to stay in the center. King has to invade it and come in to guard the Rook. And now this space is possible. So now black can't leave the defense of the Rook. So this is actually the only move because to guard the Rook. So this is the move. So now the King has two moves, here or here. So pause the video and try to find out the better move for the King. Alright, so the better move is King E4 because it is in one of the 4 squares of the center. So now what does black do? What would you do in the Queen King checkmate? It's basically the same thing because the Rook guards this, except there's a little thing that can attack. So this is the best move because now this, and this are the only possibilities, and all of them drive them into edges and corners. But this one and this one are better because, well, this one and this one are better because if you go here, it's just the direct line into a corner. So is this the better move actually? Or is this the better move? Well, the correct answer is this because this, and you have a box about this big. But if you play this, again it's the same thing with a king. So this happens. So instead of going 1 up, the Rook goes 2 up. So this is indeed the better. Oh, this is the better move. Okay, so now it has 5 possibilities. Which is the best? Well, always the white king has to try to attack the Rook. So this is the best move because now the king cannot leave the defense of the Rook. King has to go here. And now you can go either here, here, or here. If he goes here, well, then you get this. If you do this, you get this. If you go here, if you go here, you get this, try to attack it, but then it's just the same thing. But there is a better move. So pause the video and try to figure it out. Okay, so when you box it into a square, it's actually easier to put them in a corner. So this is a rectangle, so it's better because it's harder to corner someone in a rectangle. So it's the same process again. Comes here. Now there's 3 choices, and this one is indeed the best because it can only advance up 1. If you go here, then you get this. It's basically the same thing as the queen, except because this is blocked. So it's basically the same thing, and you can get him to the edge. So this is the better move because you're still in a pretty big square, a 3 by 5 square. It's pretty big. So then it's the same process again. So this is almost done with step 1. So now there's only one spot, and this is the position you want to get into with the rook. Now with the queen, you wanted to get into a 2 by 4 square, but with the rook you want to get into a 2 by 6 because this extra diagonal space is not covered. So it's the king's turn right now. Of course, he has to try to advance into the center because these two are the centers, or there are 8 centers on the edges. So you have to, well, I always want to try and understand those. So the king can't leave the defense of the rook, so this is the only move. And this is only one move. And now you have to just try to box in the king. So this is the best move. And then the king has only one move again. And it's the same process, except it repeats. So again, I'll go here. It has only one move. And this is the point where it's not too hard anymore. That stuff I just showed you was step 1. Step 2 is almost as easy as the queen king checkmate. So all you have to do is pin the corner into the king, pin the king into the corner, and somehow guard these 2 spaces while the rook goes here because it covers this. So pause the video and win the game for black. Okay, congratulations to those who won the game for black. White goes here. And right now it's a little bit of a difficult choice, because if you just go back here, it's just going to repeat. So you have to make an extra move. So instead of going back instantly, you make an extra move. Now we are here. Because now they used to be apart like a knight, but now they're connected together on the same squares. So now if the king moves, it's checkmate. So sometimes one move might seem a little bit of a waste. Like if you just go here and keep continuing this, then it will be a draw. So you have to make the extra move. And on the move, if the king or the opponent's king goes into the corner while you are guarding all 3 squares in front of your king like this, it could be to the side like this. It might be here. It also could be here. But if it's facing the king, the opponent's king, and all of these 3 spaces are covered, then you get mate. So you have to try to get it into a 2 by 3 square. So like this, even like this is okay. Sometimes you should try to practice it upside down or flip the board around so that you get a little bit of a different thing. You can also do it here. Here is also okay. It's just like the queen king. You can do anything you want. Any corner. Any of the 4 corners. Sometimes when you're on the other side, you have to pin them into these 2. And remember, the opponent's king, if they're good, they should always try to remain in these 4 center squares. So try to keep them out of these 4 squares. So good luck with your next game with a rook king checkmate.